Welcome everybody to this episode of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong,
Uncle Spoke.
along with special guest. That's your cue. Can you hear us, Dwaine? We're here with Dwaine Upperman. I don't know. Can you hear us at all, brother?
I don't think so. Did
you become unplugged?
Hold on.
There you go.
Hold on 1 second.
Well, anyway, man, we're going to wait for the technical difficulties to get out of the way, but this is Strong Perspective Podcast. You know what we do. You know how we've been doing for the last 2 years, going strong and being perfect at what we do. We promote conversation. We're here with Mr. Blankety Blank. Dwayne's trying to get his situation. This is why I love doing it live, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, because the funny thing about it, like in the beginning, I used to be like, "Wait a minute, a mistake! It's a bump in the road! It's a bump in the road! No!" You feel what I'm saying? But then I started to realize, man, going live, that's more authentic. You know, it's more authentic. It's all about, being able to, and in our community, we always are good at this, being able to juggle things and react the way we react. Dwaine, are we ready today, brother? Are you ready right now?
Yes.
All right,
I'm ready.
introduce yourself, brother.
Welcome.
My name is Dwaine Upperman.
Okay.
I live here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, but I grew up here in the South of North Carolina.
Okay.
I'm
Welcome, brother.
Well,
auto
welcome
technician.
to our situation, man. You know what I'm saying? We'll ease you on into this because look, you're a people person. That's one of the reasons why I asked you to come on. You know what I mean? So I think this is gonna be like a little walk in the park for you. You know what I mean? We'll have some fun with it.
Hopefully.
No, you good, man. Look, I look at it this way. If I can get up here, but you know what it is, for 30 years, I've always had to be a public speaker. So I can at least relay my feelings. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
You and Jaquari from his job, and you because you're a businessman, right? Own your own businesses and all this, because I want you to talk about this. But you have to be a people person. You have to show your personality and your reliability and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's start off with this. Let me do some housekeeping, and then we'll get into, some of the things that you're about, and then we'll go from there. This is a Strong Perspective Podcast. Please go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. You know what I mean? Bring us closer to the mark where we get put in an algorithm where people get to see our amazing content. See, what's so funny about it is, of course, if you're a first time or more current person, if you watched this before, you think, well, Keith, you need to say that because you want people to come. No, what I'm being truthful about it. Me and my brothers, Damon and Jaquari, and all our guests, like Mr. Upperman, these are authentic people, and we are kind of picking their brains, but what we're doing is we're listening to their spirits because they're just talking. It's conversation. It's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Let's start off with this. Dwaine, shout out your people, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out your people, children, parents, whoever you want to shout out. This is your moment.
Well, I definitely got to shout out my mother and my father, Dennis Upperman, and my mother, uh, Miriam Upperman, Miriam Hunt. I shout out my kids, Jalen, Jada, Janice, Janae. I shout out to everybody that support me, and what I do in my everyday life.
Okay.
Most importantly, shout out to my wife, Ariana.
Amen.
Well,
Look. You know, I was going. If you was going to leave that hanging, I was going to quietly remind you, hey man, we
I'm gonna
did
send
you
it.
forget anybody?
Send it to you.
Well,
Send it to you in the chat.
like I told you, I'm a little bit camera shy, so you gotta give me a second.
Yeah, we got you. We got you, brother. We got you. Um, just to give you a little bit of background. In 1997, my wife Kia bought a one of the first RAV4 Toyota RAV4s, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And she found Dwayne, who is an expert on Toyotas, and that's when we first met because we took the RAV4 to him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Dwayne, I found out Dwayne was a expert at just about any other vehicle. But you know, it was funny that we look, we still got old Betsy ain't running right now, but it's still in our driveway, and a lot of it has to do with the hands of Mr. Upperman because he walked us through it and he made sure. You know what I mean? So over the years, me talking to him, understand his his business mindset, and just who he was as a person. I thought he was perfect to come on to the podcast. So,
Thank you.
about your journey into up into what made you get into uh, being a master mechanic, all these different things.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What'd you say?
I just said, talk about yourself, man. Your journey out that all the way up to the part that you becoming a master mechanic and everything that you're doing right now.
Well, in my childhood, I was always a tinkler. Um, I got in trouble for taking stuff apart. For me, it was to figure out how it works. Uh, then, my dad, he did a little bit of mechanic stuff, and so I was always up under him, picking up a little bit of things. And then in my young adult life, one day I met this ex NFL football player who had a mechanic shop, and I came there to buy a motorcycle. And then he asked me a few questions, and then he asked me, could I work on a Cadillac and needed a water pump? And I said, yeah. And so I did that for him, and I impressed him. And then um, I did another job for him. I put an engine in a Honda Prelude for him, and he was impressed about how I was able to do that. I guess either at that young or not having that much experience. And then from that point on, I just started doing a lot of work for him, and that's what got me into the industry. I really didn't. It wasn't till probably when I was in my 30s where I really accepted the fact that I'm gonna be a mechanic for a living. I was always seeking other avenues of trying to make revenue, but I finally accepted this is what I do. This is my calling, and so I took it from there and ran with it.
Okay, okay. What were if you could name a couple of the things that prior to becoming, highly successful mechanic, what were some of the things you wanted to do? Was it along the lines of business, art? What was it exactly?
Well, I've always looked at, I guess you can categorize it as an investor. I
Okay.
always looked at just an array of way of making money, um, from buying property to, whatever it took to flip money. I come from the street. I was raised in a good home. I chose to go to the street.
Mhm.
And so I always look at making money like the same perspective like I did when I was in the street flipping a dollar.
Okay.
And so for some reason, I was gravitated to being like an investor,
Okay.
and that's what I wanted to do. But the reality of it is you got to find some way of generating income to have money to flip it, to do it like that. And when I started having my family, I made that decision to not be in the street, to not make that kind of money. And, I really feel that the ability that I have now is God given. And, I made a promise to God I'll never go back to the street and try to make money.
Okay.
And so I I got more than I need or want doing what I do now.
Yeah, look, I think that's a great thing. You know, I really and truly understand over the years you and I we spoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we talked about just about everything, and then I knew you were reliable, no matter what. I
Yeah.
mean, it may have been with the vehicles, but just your overall energy, even if it had something to do with something else,
Hmm.
you your energy let me know that you are dependable and you are a master at what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I uh, I know that you went into rent a car situation. Did you want
Yeah.
to talk about that? What brought you there? Are you still doing so, or do you want to go back to it? What you want to do?
Well, of course, by me finally accepting the fact that I'm gonna be a mechanic for the rest of my life, I'm a hustler, and so I always look for other avenues to generate more income. And I'm I'm always online, and I ran across a few guys on YouTube about Turo, and so I purchased one. I purchased my first car, and I put it on the Turo app, and that car generated me 1,200, $1,500 a month. And then, make a long story short, I end up doing 6 or 7 cars on the Turo app, and also working as a mechanic. And it was just another avenue to create more money, more
Hmm.
income, coming in. I always look for these different type of ways to generate more income. I'm a strong believer that, you know, one income is not enough. Don't never settle. And I'm always looking for information, knowledge on how to, increase income and just do different things.
Okay, okay. You I know that Jaquari, you look like you wanted to ask a question.
Um, yeah. So being a mechanic and everything, what's more lucrative? I mean, like having your own thing, or working for, I don't know, like a garage somewhere, somebody else's garage where the workers stay.
Well, well, it depends. Like, of course, having your own facility, your own shop, and your own business, there's more freedom. But in addition to that, it requires more of you. Like with me, the experience that I have and my resume, if like right now I work with a corporation, and I won't name it, but I work with a corporation now, and I basically name what I want. I say what I want, and they pay me that, and that's because of my experience in this business. But I also make appointments with my clients that I've always had and established a relationship with over almost 30 years of me doing this business.
Okay.
How difficult is it for you to keep up and maintain with the newest innovations, in regards to cars and everything? I know the auto industry is always, changing designs and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. It for me, it's not challenging because number one, I have the experience. Um, every day, I'm online I'm reading and I'm researching, just looking for new information. When new technology come out and it's a new tool required, I buy it. I always invest in myself. So I stay on top of that. It's not very, very challenging to do it when you've been in the industry, for so long because you know what to look for.
Okay.
But the basics with a vehicle is, just basic things that technicians who have a strong foundation, they know and they look for. And then it's just small things that you gotta stay up to speed with to be with the modern technology.
Okay. So let me ask you this, and this is, is it two questions? Is it anything else other than working as a master mechanic on business wise, right? Is it anything else that you would want to pursue if you had the opportunity? And the second thing is, if your children, if they're not interested in it now, if they were to become interested in doing so, following your path, would you encourage it? What would you know? What I mean, what do you think?
Okay, so the first question, my passion and my dream is always to be an investor. You know,
Okay, let me stop you there because you said that earlier. Can you elaborate it into it, or is it a secret and you just got to wait and see what exactly what you mean by investor? Invest in other businesses or what?
investor basically falls back to what I know, flipping money.
Okay,
And so at an investor level versus a street level, you become so established to where you're using the bank money to make money.
okay, okay.
So that's always been a passion and a vision for me. And plus, it also puts me in a position to where I can help others, I can employ others, I can create other avenues of what I'm doing to employ people to fulfill these obligations that I need, delegating these things out to these people.
Okay.
Two, I always treat, for the second question, I always teach my kids to increase their knowledge and to do something different because at the end of the day, being a mechanic, that's manual labor. And I always teach my kids to work smarter, not harder.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, whether you're going to college, you're going to a junior college, or whatever the case may be, increase your knowledge
Hmm.
to learn to work smarter, not harder. Don't be the person where you got to figure out how to change that tire on the side of the street. Make that money and increase that knowledge to where you can pay somebody to change that tire. I didn't teach my kids how to change a tire because
Right.
I wanted them to be smarter.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
It's funny that you mentioned that working smarter and not harder, man, because generationally, man, our generation of black males or whatever, man, I think we put a lot of stock in working hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
We put a lot
Absolutely.
of stock in working hard, and for a long time, man, it's people speak with people put like a stigma on working smarter,
Yeah.
but that's the way that's life. That's the way life goes, man. Yeah, That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to
Yeah.
use your back for your whole life.
And and,
No.
and it has
You
to
kill
be
yourself trying to do that.
it has to be an in between. You see what I'm saying? You can't shun one for the other. I think. But
No, no, no. You got to put in hard work, but you got to be a thinker.
yeah,
You have to
Progr-
increase your knowledge.
it's progression, yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let's just ramp this up just a little bit. I saw
Okay.
I saw something. Uh, we were speaking on President Obama earlier, and I'm not sure if we're gonna go there right now. But the one thing that he said to me, I heard him say. not to me, but I heard him saying this podcast. He said that you have to feel like you could be in any room. I think one of his interviewers said this. You have to feel like you the type of human being that can be in any room and have any conversation.
Exactly.
So tell me, we'll start with you, Ja'Cory. Tell me what you think about that and what that means to you.
I think he's absolutely right, man. I mean, what it means to me, man, is just being relaxed and confident enough at the same time to go in and sell yourself. Everything is an audition, man. Every time you meet a new person, it's an audition. When you see an opportunity, uh, you walk up and you shake hands and you start to verbalize your resume. You
Gotcha.
know, and some of us, unfortunately, are stunted to the point to where we understand and enjoy the attention we get when we come into a room and we're the loudest person, but it turns into entertainment. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Even if we have the goal of going in and making something, making something happen for ourselves. People really rarely remember what we say as opposed to how we say it, and the theatrics we're going through when we're saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Dwayne, before you answer this question, I want to acknowledge that you got folks on here. Angela Palmer said, "Hey, Dwayne." You know what I'm
That's
saying?
my sister. My sister.
Okay. And Miriam Hunt said, "Hey, Dwayne." So
That's my mother.
that's what's up.
yeah,
Represent, represent.
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
remember that. That's why that's why I talk like a sailor because I remember you said the name. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm being real selective with my words now.
No, no, no. My family, they're real. So you say what
I
you want to
understand.
say.
I
Yeah.
understand, but
And so the question is to you, Dwayne. Um, like I said, the person said that you should. How does it feel to? What do you think about the fact that a person needs to feel comfortable to go into every room that he can go into and feel comfortable about it? And what you think?
I think that's very important. That's something that I always strive to improve myself. And that's why I always seek different information, different knowledge. Um, I try to make myself very diverse, and I taught that with my kids as well to be very diverse, to be able to go into any room, any culture, any race, and to be able to talk to them and engage and understand, not actually accepting and believing, even as today with homosexuality, just being able to listen to them, talk to them, and engage with them without giving them a crazy look, and talk and understand, but not actually accepting it. You,
Uh,
you gotta be smart to deal with an array of people.
I understand that. I understand that. I mean, because everybody have their preference, and everybody, you're putting up the effort to do so. But go ahead and finish.
That was basically it.
Okay, okay. Uh,
okay. In my
let,
work,
let,
in my
yeah, go
work
ahead,
life,
Jaquan.
man, I work with at risk youth, right?
Right.
And you when you're dealing with young black men nowadays, like I said, they enjoy the attention, be it
Yeah.
positive or negative. And for some reason I see or can't, I have seen other black men in specific situations try to uh curtail that or sometimes even break it. But what both parties fail to realize is the fact that, in regards to public speaking and putting yourself out there and presentation, that's half the battle.
Yeah.
You got a kid that's having uh, 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 a bout of being a class clown or whatever. Okay, yeah, it's inappropriate right now, but the same courage it took for you to say something that you thought was funny in front of everybody to get people to laugh is the same
Yeah,
thing that's going to get your foot in the door when it's time to take care of business.
Okay.
exactly. I truly believe that.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but a lot of times when there's a critique, before I answer the question, a lot of times when somebody has something to say, two things happen. This from the classroom setting, Jaquar. Your timing is off. So you say stuff that might be funny to the teacher, but at the wrong time.
Hmm.
See what I'm saying? And then if you hit it in the right way in the classroom, that teacher might be having a bad day. You understand what I'm saying to you? And you need to read the room like comics do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It
Right.
is what it is. But
Or when it's time, or when it's time to give that teacher back what he's been teaching,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and you being a young black man that's sitting in this classroom and you picked up the material, but you're bored right now. That's what that
yeah.
is.
But
You're bored right now.
so if you're bored, answer the questions. See,
Yeah, but
that's how you no, I'm saying that's how you take the edge off. It don't solve the problem, but you take the edge off by asking the question, especially if just your example, especially if you're bored and you understand it, right? Answer the question.
but my point is that tact needs to be cultivated, man.
No doubt. No
It
doubt.
needs to be cultivated.
Well, so let me just say this real quick. That struck home to me as far as being in a room because I was told, and Jaquari and my brother Damon, we were told as young men that you belong everywhere you want to be. Now, if you don't know the lingo, saying it's something economical or scientific or something along those lines, you still become a sponge in hearing what's being said.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? That's how I feel. I've walked into rooms where I was always prepared to listen and prepared to absorb and prepared to contribute. You see what I'm saying? It's like you. This is what I teach my sons and every young man and woman that follows. Like, hey, look, say it, right? Ask the question because you need an answer. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if somebody will try to clown you, you still ask the question because you need that answer. See, I've never been afraid because I stood. I hate this phrase because they're trying to turn it into some little cliche thing, standing on business. That's a universal thing. That's been since we was kids, standing on business. Standing on business means that the simple fact that you prepared to be who you are, you know what I'm saying? And be flexible while you're doing it. And that's all I really have to say about it. You know what I mean? Because it is what it is, man.
It's the classic 2 ears, one mouth scenario, man. Your ears take in the information, your mouth filters. Your brain helps you to discern what's important.
Hmm.
But like I said, man, that's got to be cultivated.
It's true. And cultivation means what? What does cultivation mean to you, Dwayne, and then Jaquari? You answer the same question. What does cultivation mean?
uh, elaborate a little more.
Okay, Jaquari used it as cultivation as far as, and this is what I picked up from as
Development.
far as encouraging and giving them the confidence to go. You know what I mean? So that's why I was asking, what do you think encouragement and cultivation mean?
As much as we try to teach encouragement, it can't be taught. Common sense can't be taught. We can only tell people things to let them know what's right. But it's something that just has to register in some people's heads
Yeah,
as to know how to do things or what to say.
okay, okay. Jaquari.
Yeah, cultivation. What I mean by cultivation, man, is like you said, Keith, development, man, encouragement, uh, facilitation of the opportunity to do these things. You know, sometimes I might, pay attention to, the music that these young folks is listening to, and give me the most vulgar antisocial verse that you committed to memory or whatever. Okay, take the vulgarity out. Make it make sense to me
Hmm.
as a 52-year-old black man. Can you do that? If you can't do that, then you are not allowed to sing. You're not allowed to sing aloud around me anymore. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Show
But you,
me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
but the young people think different.
Yeah,
But they said the same thing about us, Dwayne.
yeah. That's what I
I
mean by.
know, and yeah, I trust me, I know because I'm a music head,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
know. But this generation now, they think different. You can't just approach it like that.
You absolutely can. I do it every day. Anything that you relate to, I related to it 50 years ago.
I mean,
Break it
Yeah,
down. Break
you
it
know,
down to me. Break it down
it's
to me. Help
all
me understand it.
it's all the same thing. It becomes a cycle. But dealing with this generation to say exactly what you just said, versus you being a 50-something-year-old man, make it make sense to you. What they say today will never make sense to you.
Maybe it won't,
So
but
so now the role has turned. It's not that they got to make it make sense to you. You got to understand what they're saying today to make it make sense to you, so that you can deal with this generation.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but you know, uh, once once they start the attempt, then my job is done. It doesn't have to make sense to me. I don't need to understand it because they're a captive audience, so they're gonna hear me. But once I put them into the mindset of thinking, what other word? And I'm sorry, I'm apologize to you, Bob. But when they hear the word motherfucker in a song, what other word can you use in place of that word to make it make sense?
Well,
And it takes work.
right,
It takes
right,
work.
uh,
and that's just teaching people how to increase the vocabulary so they don't have to use those type of words.
we'll see that's the point he's trying to make because
Right.
here's what I. This is one thing about it because you got to think about it. Within our age group, I just turned 60. Within our age group, from the youngest of us who's on here now to me, right? We had a taste of everything from pro black radical to R&B, that all of that, all those different things, right? And then you know, no disparagement on them, Glorilla, you know what I'm saying, and the Atlanta dudes who what they rapping about, all of that, right? We had a taste of that when we was youngins. You see what I'm saying? So the one thing that I will catch myself in thinking that these young people think differently from me. But the difference is this: I've lived long enough to mature from it. So if I pull that coattail about something, it's not like, oh, you wrong. No, what's going to happen is the longer you live, the more you're going to think I can I can find a better way with this. You see what I'm saying? Because the easiest thing in the world to me is to critique something, to criticize somebody. That's easy. That's easy, right? Now, I'm not gonna kiss your ass to try to get a compromise, but I want it to be a give and take, young and old, even old and old. Give me a give and take where we'll get closer to the middle. We don't need to touch, but understand what I'm saying, and I understand what you're saying. You feel what I'm saying? It can, because that's the art of conversation. Because one thing that changed me, mostly because of my job, but my job represented a lot of my personality, is I don't have to win an argument. What I need to do is understand what the hell you talking about, and you to acknowledge, and you don't even have to do it verbally to acknowledge you know what the hell I'm talking about. And as soon as you acknowledge it, you know what you're gonna say to me? I don't give a damn what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't care about that. Now you understand me. Now we don't need to go into that. No, because you understand me. You just don't agree. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it is too much. Sometimes, man, it gets in the way of our progress when we go to back and forth. Like social media, and guys, tell me what y'all think about this. Social media to me is entertainment, right? It's entertainment. And I'm talking about, the celebrity part of it. You know what I mean? Because YouTube, man, YouTube, you can find anything on YouTube when it comes to fixing something. I think it's a God given, God sent that to us, the people who trying to make their way through life. Because you could, let me punch this in, and you can find an idea to get it done, right? But the other part of YouTube is nothing but entertainment. But people blur it, man. People, and do you think the entertainment part of YouTube has made people think that it's all real?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. Well, elaborate a little bit, Dwayne, and then you, Jaquar.
That's the problem that people nowadays can't differentiate the reality of what really is and what you see on like YouTube and Instagram. You know, of course, when you on these social media sites, you can make your life look all lavish and the expectations of what you think how life should be, you're basing it off what you're seeing this person cutting and editing, and in the reality of it, that's not how they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And society is driven off that. That's why you see old people, young people, everybody's on TikTok, everybody's on Instagram,
Yeah.
everybody's looking at and repeating what they're seeing and what they're hearing as if this is concrete information.
Yeah.
And in the reality of it, like it's what you just said, social media, whatever platform, was for entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here in America, they can't differentiate that. And that's where we're getting confusion. That's where we're getting distractions from all perspectives, from even right now with voting, who you going to vote for, with politics and all that type stuff. We confused, we distracted, we looking at stuff that's not important, stuff that's not real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I used to post on social media a lot with my fitness, and I just chose to just stop doing it because I don't like how the platform is and what it does. So I don't do
Oh, so you don't want people to see how buffed out and muscular you are, brother?
it. No, it's it's not that, because when I initially did that, I did that for older guys to
Good point.
get them to understand that you don't have to just sit on the couch and drink beer. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You actually can, you know, get in shape. Get your body right and be healthy. And I was just trying to show that and just encourage it. But a lot of these people on social media, they're attention seekers, and
Yeah.
I'm not an attention seeker. And so when I started seeing that kind of like and then when I did train people, people didn't take it serious because they was looking for that instant gratitude to where they thought they could be like me or be like what they see on Instagram fast.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I lost interest in that, and I didn't want to be categorized as a attention seeker,
Gotcha.
and so that just pushed me away from doing that.
I like that.
Doesn't mean that I don't train. That's a personal experience with me. Now, people that know me outside of social media, when they call me or they text me and they ask questions, I'm very informational. I tell them, do this, do that, to help them along their journey.
Hmm.
But to do it on a social media platform, because how social media is, I choose not to engage, in that avenue.
No doubt. No doubt. But see, that's the wisdom of our age group of who we are as people.
Right.
You have to understand what we were fed when we were youngins is to survive and dominate. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it
Right.
in a bad sense. I'm talking about understanding what we was up against. Jaquari, what do you think?
Well, social media has made it acceptable for the world to indulge in its more sadistic nature.
Mm.
You know, entertainment used to be a place you could escape to. Back in the '50s, man, you pay a dime and go sit in the freaking theater and watch 3, 4 cowboy movies in a row, and for that period of time, you forgot all about your problems. You didn't know anything about John Wayne having a drunken racist tirade, at the craft table. We didn't hear about that, even though it probably did happen. But now we have an opportunity to see, Bobby Brown, passed out drunk at the freaking Shoney's and shit, and that entertains us. You know what I mean? Let alone not even considering, the musical gifts that he's given to the world. You
So,
know,
so
everything.
Jaquari,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have to ask that because you brought him up. Is it the fact that we see these celebrities in train wrecks is why we're attracted to it? Because we want their lives, but then misery loves company. That kind of effect. Your
It, it,
opinion. You know what I mean?
it very well could be. It very well could be. I mean, but when somebody is, when we perceive somebody to be doing, financially, socially, spiritually better than us, when we see a chink in the armor, we all attack it. We
Mm.
all attack it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what our situations really are. Because you take a celebrity with a bunch of money, uh, Eddie Murphy. Take Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy can't go to the Walmart.
No.
The difference is, we don't have Eddie Murphy's money to spend, but we have the freedom, freedom of movement to go and do what we please without his level of public scrutiny.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Entertainment is totally lost its aspect of escapism, man. Totally lost it, and that was the point in the first place. I
That's
don't care
exactly what the
nothing.
point was.
I don't like somebody I'm entertained by, man. Somebody I perceive to be a hero, man. I don't want to see their flaws. I mean, but that's just me. I don't care. I got my own shit I got to deal with.
Yeah.
Well, this generation, they look for that. They want to see the conflict. They want to see the problems. That's entertainment now.
Mm,
That's why you have these reality shows. That's entertainment.
Do
yeah.
you guys see it as being hateful, looking for that? Because I tell you, I say this. I worked for 30 years, right, in law enforcement. In my last 10 years, when YouTube was really growing and becoming what it was going to become, and before they put, the little violence stipulations on YouTube, I'm at work as a law enforcement officer, right? And I'm on a YouTube channel looking at fights. I mean, like on my way home, I'm looking at actual fights. What was it? World Star. Y'all remember World Star? You know what I mean? And people was getting
Mhm.
paid off of recording these fights. Is it? Do we look for train wrecks, man?
They
And
absolutely do.
and if we do, why do we look for train wrecks? I don't want to see nobody get knocked out. This is why I stopped doing it. Because I've seen enough of it in real life. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Knocked out cold, where they lose everything, right? Because it was part of my job and all these different things. And I had to stop. I'm like, Jesus, man. How, what do I feel? How do I feel? And this is some self introspection, right? How do I feel about me? Sit there and look at train wrecks like that. You get what I'm saying? And a pseudo form of entertainment on my behalf. I'm not I'm not shitting on whatever these people is doing, right? But I'm saying to you, why am I participating in it by watching it? And I had to ask myself that. And when I didn't come up with a good enough answer, I stopped. Cold turkey. I stopped. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't watch it on the nightly news. I couldn't watch it when somebody inferred that somebody was assaulted or killed. That did something to me, right?
Yeah.
But
Excuse me one
watching it,
second.
no, no,
Excuse me one second. No, no, excuse me. Like I got to step away.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
One
you got it.
second.
Knock yourself out. You know what I mean? It's like I'm on Jaquari, I'm on it like that. Like, you know what? I can't watch it when it's in my vicinity. Partly because I went to work. I was going to work. I was doing, you know what I'm saying? But another thing is, it did something to me as a person because I cannot desensitize myself to that. But when you watch it too much from a young age all the way up into my age and older, it does something to you. It does something to you.
So would you say that if you just watched a regular boxing match or MMA fight, you would have the same effect?
To a point,
Hmm.
listen, I enjoy MMA, right? But I hate horrible knockouts. I enjoy boxing, but I hate horrible knockouts. I can deal with TKOs. You feel what I'm saying? But when you knock somebody out cold, oh man, I don't like this shit. I done seen it and participated in it too much in person and didn't like it then. That's just my own opinion about it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
I mean, hey, shit, everybody, air quotes loves to see a good fight, man. I mean, it's been ingrained in us since the dawn of time, man. Some kind of physical conflict has always been, whatever prevalent societies has always been their main like point of entertainment or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, for me, like the whole, the world star stuff and all that. I mean, it it ran its course, man. And it's definitely ran its course, especially in regards to what I do for a living, man, and how I don't appreciate my community being perceived by the other,
Gotcha.
so in that aspect, I've matured. You
Gotcha.
know, but we're never going to be in a time, man, where you know aggression, physical aggression, is not going to be entertainment.
I agree. I think that, to be honest with you, that we will never be in no perfect time until the rapture. If you believe in the rapture,
Exactly.
you feel me? That's just how I am. So let me change it up just a little bit. Why do people, and this is not a little bit, this is a lot. Why do people, especially in our community? No, I take that back. It's not in our community, but it is portrayed to us in where? Social media. Why do you have black men get on social media and say Kamala Harris is not black? Can you explain that to me? And
Well,
I'm
well,
no, hold on. Let me, I'm gonna let it marinate for a second, Dwayne. First and foremost, if you know somebody from Jamaica, right? Naturally born Jamaican, and he marries a Chinese woman and they have babies. What do you consider their children?
well,
Do
in the black community, we're gonna consider the child black.
okay. Now, with that being said, go ahead, Dwayne. I didn't mean to cut you off, but go ahead.
So, what is Camilla's nationality?
She is Indian and Jamaican.
Okay,
Her
so
father is Jamaican.
right, so she half Indian and half black.
But what do we as a community do? See, we don't do we okay. Better question. Do we differentiate, y'all know what I mean. Do we
Yeah,
do we make the difference between that? Because if she grew up in our hood, how are we gonna see her?
she didn't grow up in our hood. But the thing about it is, if you're looking from a political standpoint, does it really matter what her nationality is?
That is
What
my point, sir.
what is she talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, whoever you want to vote for, it is what it is. You want to vote for
Right.
Trump, you want to vote for her, it is what it is. I'm talking about the freaking noise, man, is what I'm talking about.
Distractions, diversions.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is what they put to distract us from the reality of what we really need to be focusing on.
hmm
Yeah,
hmm
yeah. I mean,
So your answer is you feel what, Dwayne, and then you, Jaquar.
Her nationality doesn't matter. It's what are the solutions? What is she saying?
Okay.
What is she bringing to the table? That's what's important. It doesn't matter, what public, what whether she's Democrat, Republican, black, white, whatever. What are you saying?
Yeah.
Now of course, me being a black man and in the black community, yeah, I'm supporting it because she has black in her. But at the same time, if she ain't talking right, I'm not interested.
Gotcha. I respect that. Jaquar.
yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Now, I think I'd like to ask those same guys, man. What good is that doing now? The election is Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
you know what I mean. So all this vitriol or whatever you guys had for this woman or whatever. I mean, you should have had a bigger voice when Biden dropped out. This is what we got to work with.
Well, they need to be
Hmm.
thankful. They need to be thankful Biden dropped out.
Yeah,
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because let me put it like this: where I get that question from is I was watching social media, entertainment wise, and whatever, right? And it was a barbershop. I don't know if you saw it. CNN went into a barbershop, right? Now, that's sacred for us. I don't know you guys got your own barber, but that's sacred for us as far as conversations wise, right?
I'm actually my own barber.
But that's what I said because my brother Damon cuts his own hair. So
Yeah.
I get that. But my point is, I don't know because CNN and the local station was there. Now all of a sudden, and this is not an indictment toward those brothers, right? But if you know that this young lady's mom, you know that both their nationalities, why would you get on? Like I said, I'm not criticizing them. I'm saying like, oh, you're gonna say, I don't know if she's black or not. The fuck does that mean? I'm 60 years old. I've been voting since I was 18 years old. The men that I voted for all those years did not represent me. I didn't care whether they was white or black. You understand? All the way up into Obama. I tell people all the time, I think he did a great job in recovery, right? But I voted for him because he was a black man. And somebody looked at me and said, what? You voted for him because he was a black man? And I looked at him, I said, yeah. How many times did I get a chance to vote for him, for somebody who was black? So,
One time.
and it was, look, listen, and it was a white man who said it. And I looked at him, I said, how dare you? How dare you? Your whole life, you were able to vote for somebody that looked like you. Then you got the nerve to look at me and say that to me. Then I was on there, I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? I'm on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, are you kidding me? Because one thing that God's blessed me with is, you said it earlier, Dwayne, common sense and to decipher through the BS. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But my point I'm trying to make to you is this. I think sometimes I just think that Trump was a plant, right? He was an actual plant for the Democrats because Trump said all the wrong stuff. He said the most hateful, horrible things, right? That anybody could say. And when we was growing up, would make people drop out of the race. Even if it was white people voting for him, they would have to drop out of the race, right? But what Trump became was an avatar for hate, for hateful people. For hateful people. He is saying the stuff that their frustration and everything that they want to say. Now, because look, and this is not like an indictment against him, but my observation. People love Trump. Black people who like Trump, right? They like him because they saw him with all our black celebrities before he ran for president. He was the only white face amongst all those black men and women. So they saying that he's familiar to us. Even though people telling us he was a slumlord, he didn't rent the black people, all these different things. Like, you know, his daughter-in-law gets on and say, hey man, shit, no, he's done a lot for black people. Right? But the thing about it is, you don't have to put us in that hateful of the Spanish community or hateful of the Muslim community for me to think if you go after them like that, you're not going to exclude us. You're just not saying it out loud because you're used to us, because we helped you make money in its casinos and different places like that. We made you legitimate. These stars made you, the boxing made you legitimate. So of course he ain't gonna like his buddies. He's not gonna talk obviously against them. But if you're talking obviously against people that kind of look like me, you know what I'm saying? When you talk about Haiti eating dogs and cats, no, I'm gonna give it back to you guys because
He said Puerto Rico was a pile of trash.
yeah, yeah. So if he feels like he was a plant, man. He says all the wrong things, and people still support him. So I don't get it. I don't get it. But
They
it's not.
support him.
Go ahead.
Really, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
They support him because he's just he in the American eye is a successful businessman.
I got you.
That's
Is
one
he?
reason. And then when he did have the position of presidency, they made it appear as if he was the one that sent out money to everybody, when in actuality that's not true.
It's not.
And so us as black people, and I don't try to belittle us, but I'm gonna keep it 100. We look for handouts. We look for free stuff,
I think it's
and
conditioning. But go ahead.
and there's a lot of black people that are like that, and so they looking at, well, Trump, he gonna make America great again. He's gonna give us money. And in actuality, everything that he's setting up, from health care to tax breaks, it does not benefit people like you and I.
I got you.
By no means it doesn't benefit us, but you have the black people in our community who are not millionaires but thousandaires, who think that they are at that level, and they vote for Trump when these things that he's trying to implement is not going to take care of them. And they don't understand that because they're not reading between the lines.
And you always talk about he's for the people. He's for the
Yeah,
people who have money.
no,
Oh man, he's
yeah.
for
He
the elite, man. That's what it
He's
is.
for that. That's exactly right. That elite is a very small percentage, and
It is.
it doesn't include us.
They don't. They don't.
No.
Now let me just say this, and Corey, I want you to chime in. Understand something. I understand that in the '60s we were not Democrats. We voted mostly for the Republican Party. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's what we did as a community. All the way up until that point, we voted Republican, right? But then the Civil Rights Bill, Andrew Johnson, not Andrew, but Johnson, uh, the Civil Rights Bill, all those heavily racist Democratic senators flipped to Republican in the '60s. That's why our votes went to Democrats. You see what I'm saying? So, am I saying, oh, we voting for the wrong party? No, what I'm saying, in my opinion, is neither party gave a flying fig about us. Period.
Nope. It's all part of more distractions.
That's it. That's it. They both have their own way of doing things, but really and truly, just never gave anything about us. What that mean? What go vote independent? No, what I'm saying to you is on the local level, get together so you can do better for yourself, you and your family locally. Of course, you vote, nationally, but my point is put people in place that's going to help you to a certain point. That's all. Um, Let me ask you a question. Malika Harris, what's going on, cuz? She says she thinks that the support people are not giving her the vice president's support because of misogyny, right? They don't want to see a woman in charge. Do you
Yeah,
guys?
that's true. That's true. I believe it.
I believe it, but I don't understand why. You know what I mean? Because You said Malika said we vote for the party that aligns with our values. None of these parties align with our values, sis. In my opinion, you know what I'm saying? I don't think so. I don't think so. What do you think, Jaquari?
Well, Dwayne made a statement, man, that the thousandaires in our community is supporting Donald Trump, man. But and I agree, you know, because like where I am in Northern Virginia, some of the more affluent black people, they're showing support. But
Gotcha.
what they fail to realize is, it's a vast difference. It's a vast tax difference between 100,000 and 1 million. It's a vast difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vast difference between 200,000 and 1 million. So whatever tax relief he does, talk about implementing or whatever, it's still not going to affect you. Not on the level that you think it's going to affect you. You get to keep a couple more hundred dollars in your account, and that's always a good thing. Yeah, I mean, but you know, when you actively know that you selling the people behind you out, you know, whatever. I mean, we haven't displayed a sense of reaching back in our community for fucking decades, man. You know.
Or at least being communicated that there are people reaching back in our community. See
Yeah, I
that?
mean,
Yeah, I think it's both ways, Jaquari. I agree with you.
yeah,
Um,
it. I'm not done, bro.
not my fault.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It,
Nah, but
Jaquari must be on the roll. My fault, brother.
yeah, well, not no more. You just fucked up. Nah, nah, nah. But I mean, yeah, I did forget what I was gonna say. My bad, bro.
Mm-mm.
Go ahead, man.
Stay off the weed, man. No, but
I wish it was. I wish it was.
let me ask you a question, and we'll start with you, Dwayne. Do you
Okay.
feel that the folks in our community, and this is not in whatever answer you give is just your opinion, and this is not for somebody to argue against it, but just your perception of it. Do you feel the people in our community as a is in are we too selfish for one another as a whole? Selfish, meaning inclusion, economic, everything. I'm just throwing it all in there just to see what you think about it.
I would have to say yes, because just my personal experience in my community, dealing with people that look like me, and even in my industry, we crabs in the bucket.
Gotcha.
It's
Gotcha.
sad to say, you know, I can look at other nationalities and see them actually work together. Not to say that their situations are perfect, but they tend to work together more than what we do.
Okay.
And that's probably why we look more so like the people on the bottom of the totem pole.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Because, the Hispanic community, they've excelled from what we look like.
Because they're always trying to fight to be here. And,
Yeah, they
and,
working. They
and
working.
yeah,
So
that
back in our day when we were young, we was in Burger King, McDonald's, Bojangles,
yeah.
and you go to construction sites and you see, all the black men. Now, when I was real young, when my dad was in construction, you would see a lot of the white guys doing the framing. Now it surpassed the Negroes, and it's just what it's just Hispanics.
Gotcha.
So what are we doing?
Lighter. Well, I get it. I get it. Jaquari, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would say selfish. there are people in our community who are uh, better suited to certain situations. I'll say,
Gotcha.
and I think that's driven by the amount of resources that we have. I mean, we don't have a vast amount of resources at all. I think we work very well with what we have. Unfortunately, uh, we the people in our community with money, their mindsets align with the other. So in that sense, the sense of community is dying if if it's not dead. In our community, we you know you can go on probably any pro black platform, in this space, and hear black men talk about how we built the country, and how we started things and established this and did that or whatever. But we don't talk much about maintenance.
But yeah, because I agree with you, but I slightly disagree. We are still involved in the maintenance of it, man. It's not being said. You understand what I'm saying too? Because we have too many people that may not be rich, but making a way in their lives in our community, men and women.
Well,
We
well,
have too many people.
that being said, why do we still have an expectation for the other to put that out there? See,
I think
that's not equality. Equality is not having the other acknowledge us. Equality is us having our own shit and creating our own opportunities. That's equality.
I think if you look,
Acknowledgement from the people in charge. That's not equality.
okay, I get it.
So hold on. What you just say? Repeat what you just said.
Acknowledgement is not equality.
Right,
The opportunity to create your own unfettered.
right,
That's equality.
right. And you said something along the lines with like us people, right?
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Okay. So when the crab in the bucket thing falls into play, we can't do it.
So okay, let's talk about the crab in the bucket.
Yeah.
I live off of optimism because what I do is actually look at. Not saying you're wrong. So this is not a combative statement. This is the fact that I pay attention to what's not being said. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because we get promoted, the negative, the negative stereotypes are thrown into the visual space all of the time, every single day, right?
And we all see it
We see it.
and we don't fix it.
But what is the majority? Because that's the minority, bro. See, that's what I believe. And that's what my small picture, my window, whether it's accurate or not, that's what I see. I see there's more of us taking things, working things out, building lives for ourselves, building lives for our children, right? But it's not put on these screens. What do we see? We see all the negative stuff because there are other people who are trying to put on screen where they think we are for entertainment. For entertainment.
Well,
Okay.
I could tell I could tell you this from my personal experience because you just gave your perspective of what you see,
Uh-huh.
but I can give you my perspective from a business standpoint, whether I'm trying to seek a different avenue for more revenue and I'm trying to get more information about a business that I know another person that look like me is in and they're very successful with it, or whether I'm trying to seek help from another brother that I know is very successful, and we had conversations. And then when it's my turn, and I'm only speaking for me,
Okay.
I have never had help from nobody that looked like me.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. If
And
you
I,
had,
and I, and,
and I'm-
and I can tell you this: if you ever look for support in business, it ain't the black community.
but
And that's sad to say, but I'm just telling you.
okay,
I'm
okay,
30. I'm 30 years and doing my own thing, and I'm telling you,
yeah. But see,
if you
no,
if you rely on the black community, you will fail. We don't support each other. It's just
I
facts. We
respect,
don't.
I respect what you're saying. See, here's the thing. This is your experience, so I can't refute that, and you're being honest and true about it. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm saying to you is this: I see you compared to me, not comparing, but just my personal experience with you as
Yeah.
being successful, right?